Yes, people. Welcome back to another episode of Lion in the Room. I am your host, Leo Doche Jr., and I think I've got a special episode for you guys. I hope you guys are doing good, enjoying your day. I'm doing great, man. What can I say? Today's guest is a very good friend of mine. I've known him for a while now, and I can say that he is an overachiever, very innovative, and he's just looking to achieve all that he can get in a positive way. And I believe as people, we should be looking to move in such a fashion. Do not forget to always be bold. Now, allow me to introduce the founder of Militus Auto Blogs, my friend Jude. Welcome to the podcast, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm not too bad, man. What can I say? Things are good. I cannot complain. So talk to me, man. How have things been? I know you've been having a busy week. Give us a little gist.
Okay, so traveled back home to touch down to my roots. My friends call it a tour. I don't know what exactly that would be like having to move from one place to another, but yes, I think I agree with them. Trying to see different cultures, touch back most especially to my roots, where I come from, the stuff I'm made of, and yeah, that's what I've been up to as well.
Lovely stuff, man. What's that been like, though? Being able to actually go back to your roots. I haven't had the opportunity to really seek out my heritage, but when I do, I know it's going to be a lovely experience. But talk to me about yours, man. What's that like, actually delving deep into, I would say, your history?
Basically, the fascination of knowing that you come from a very great history and the stories I got to hear about, my grandfather, royalty, and all of those interesting things, how culture is,
Mm-hmm.
those were very, very precious things that you can't buy with money, I would say. So knowing where you're placed, what positions you are, what values your family has have carried to where you are today, those were the experiences I got that I wouldn't have gotten if I didn't go back. Also knowing family, some little things, details that I would have never expected I would have gotten if I don't touch back. We sometimes we grow and we branch out, and sometimes we don't really have the time to go back. But I would say if you can, just try and you would not regret it. It's a wonderful experience. It has been a wonderful experience for me as well. So
Lovely
that's what it's
stuff.
been like. Happiness that I can't really explain is what I felt.
That's good, man. Insurmountable. I love to hear it, bro. But now we can move over to our first segment of today's episode. And I'd like to call it How It All Started, from passion to platform. You know what I mean? So,
Mm.
my question for you is, when did it just go from interest to something you wanted to build around? You know what I mean? Because you have a passion, you have what you enjoy. Sometimes it starts as a hobby.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's not even a hobby. It's just something you do every random day, but you love it. So when did it just go from that to something you could take into the future?
Basically, um, you know, having to define, or if someone asked me, what do you define yourself as? What do you call yourself? I said, I'm a car enthusiast.
Mm-hmm.
And at at what point did I realize, oh, this is what I want to do? Is well, it's been a passion from when I was a child, having to get fascinated with the way cars work, how they move, how they are made. Just the sensation of being in a car alone just made me happy, absolutely happy.
Mm.
And it came from a place of curiosity to see how these things are made, how they work. So it struck having to start off as a child. Everything was a car. I saw it as a car. I wanted to see how they worked. So that's where it started. And another point was where I started sketching out cars and designing them. I was like, oh, at that very young age, I'd be like, well, I want to have a car company. I want to do something with cars. So that's pretty much where it started from.
Lovely, man. I like that, man. I can tell that you were a really curious you back in your day, bro. Because to be able to
Mm.
pick up shoes and stools and just drag them on the ground, as a parent, that's horrifying. As a kid, that's imaginative. You're using your imagination, but you see that as a young person,
Exactly.
curiosity is such a great thing to have, man. It's such a great thing to have because you find yourself
Mm.
asking questions. Or why does it move this way? Why does it look like this? Why doesn't this move in the same fashion? And you're now asking questions, you're looking at steps, and you're learning one way or the other. You are learning. Some people don't see it as that. Some people think, oh, maybe it's a destructive nature or something that needs to be quelled.
Yeah.
But who knows, man? You might be cutting off your kids' imagination, curiosity, all their dreams. So I like how it started for you, man. My next question is, what was the first piece of content you made? And how did it perform? So after you decided, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna make content. I've done some sketches. I love cars. What was your first video like?
I had tried, believe me, I had tried to drop a few things, pick up a camera, make a video. And for anyone who has started or tried to ever make content, you know how difficult that is. Because you have to deal with, oh, am I stuttering? Am I saying it right? Are people going to receive these things?
Mm-hmm.
But my very first content was when I decided it was born out of challenge. Back then I used to be in a photo university,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll tell my friends because a part of me wasn't really satisfied with what I was doing there.
Yeah.
So I told my friends, well, this is my first year, and the whole issues of Nigerian strike, ASU, and all of that. So I said to them, if we go on strike again, I would go back to my city in Port Harcourt and I would look out for Ferraris, Lamborghinis. But the truth is, I had no, I had absolutely no idea where to start from.
Mm-hmm.
Because in order to make the content, I had to look for the cars. So it somehow I was privileged to find out that a couple bikers were doing their events. And I had said, oh, I'm going to go. So I took my iPhone and went to that place and shot content. I didn't even know how I did it, the courage and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I knew I had the courage to speak. Because right now people feel, oh, Jude is very outspoken, but it was because I started making content. And if I hadn't done that day, it wouldn't have been a defining, life-changing moment for me. And I said to myself, oh well, I'm going to do this YouTube thing. I'm going to make content on my social media as well. So it all started from there, and here I am today.
Great story, man. Honestly, it takes courage to actually make your
Yeah.
first step, make your first move. And honestly, bro, it can be so nerve-wracking. You're already thinking of all the things that could go wrong before you even press record. And it
You know,
just
one very um interesting thing is you pick up a camera in public and you're talking to yourself, and people are wondering
oof.
if you are used to how the society in Nigeria is. You
Mm,
know that
if you're a
people are
normal
just like,
human
who
being.
is he to exactly? Are you normal? Like, is something wrong with you? How will pick up a camera if you're not on video, if you're not
Hmm.
FaceTiming someone or something, and you're talking to the camera and you're saying, hey guys, come with me today.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very interesting,
Then it's the same
to
thing
just
over
see
here as
people
well. It's crazy. Sorry to cut you
exactly.
in. It's the same thing over here. People will be gawking at you, wondering what's going on, man.
What's he doing?
Oh man, let me ask you one quick question before we move over to our next segment. Now, I want to
Yeah.
know because I believe that passion is common in everyone, but being able to turn it into something structured is rare. So I want to ask, do you think passion is enough or does it need discipline to survive?
Interesting. So I would like to define what passion is for me
Of
first
course.
to be able to answer if it needs discipline. Passion is like a driving force. It's fire,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I've been privileged enough to know what passion is like, and having love for something. It's born out of love. It's something you can do. It's something you just want to be around. And that's passion. Now, passion can get you going, but it wouldn't keep you in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
You need discipline, and I correspond to the fact that you also need discipline to back up whatever your passion is, because at the point where your passion can't keep you, discipline can keep you as well. Because sometimes you just have to show up, sometimes you have to make that video, and you know that, oh, there are people out there that are going to listen to me, notwithstanding what is going on with your life at
Mm-hmm.
that point, because there are times where your passion can't shine through, especially when you're in the content game and you're about to sit there in front of that camera and talk, and there's so many things running through your mind, but you need discipline to show up. You need to be disciplined. So I correspond to the fact that you need discipline and you need to back it up with your passion. For me, my passion has been cars alone, and not just being in that space, turning it into value,
Mm-hmm.
right? At some point, I began dabbling into car sales and being able to procure vehicles for people with a different touch, not just to sell any cars, because anybody can sell cars. What makes me different? What do I do with the knowledge? How do I transform this passion I've had to want to read up on cars and so many things that have been archived there?
Mm-hmm.
Because I can go on and on. If someone asks me a question about, oh, what's so special about this car? And that's something that other people don't get, that I encourage people to venture into the world of the automotive. So once I found myself in that space, I was like, how do I how do I keep going? So that's when it clicked to me. Well, in this passion, I have to inculcate this discipline. I have to get ready to show up, get ready to do things that I wouldn't do when I'm down.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what's been keeping me going.
Lovely, 100%, man. I agree with you, man.
Yeah.
Discipline is your driving force at the end of the day. It's like you think about a car, bro. Sometimes you can motivate yourself, yeah, but what really keeps you going? Motivation sometimes can be your fuel, but when you don't have enough fuel and you need to get to one place or the other, your engine is going to be that discipline. And how well you filled that tank up
Mhm.
previously is now going to show how far you're going to go, if you get where I'm coming from. But now we're moving over to the next segment, man. And that is
Yeah.
building in Nigeria,
I mean,
challenges and reality. It's really something. And with this, my first question is, what's it like building a car
mm,
focused brand in Port Harcourt specifically? Because when I was in PH, bro, like sometimes I felt like I was out of the loop. Whether it was social media, whether it was social events, I never really knew there was a big car space. When I thought of car spaces, you're thinking, Japan mainly, Asia, Japan. You can look at that. Some places in Europe and a lot of places in
yeah.
America, man. So tell me, what's it like building a car focused brand in PH?
So you just mentioned, right? Having to see them build these things outside, you know, I would want to highlight a very big word here:
Of course.
community,
Ah,
right?
yeah, community.
Ha- Having a community of people who are as passionate as well.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, for me, there wasn't anything, right? There wasn't any car community. There wasn't any body. I know, cheers to the bikers, the biking community all over the world, especially here in Port Harcourt, because the bikers in Port Harcourt have been the very big pioneers of the biking community in Nigeria. So out of that, I wanted to build same thing with the car community because I mean you can see cars everywhere. People don't think of them as special, but if you see a biker suited up with his helmet, all of those things, you just start to wonder what kind of pride does this person have? And I really wanted to bring it into, you know, having people of the same mindset with me that once you see a cool car, it's something fascinating. One of the challenges I faced was walking up to people who I felt had interesting cars in my city, in the city of Port Harcourt,
Mm-hmm.
and they turned me down.
Oh, wow.
So I felt, oh, this guy has a G-Wagon. It's an AMG. It's going to be loud, fast, quick. And you walk up to this guy, and the next thing he says to you is, well, I'm not interested in any of those things.
Mm.
And that to me made me start to define two things. I've had the passion. This person just had the money to go out there, get this car. He drives it, but he's not as passionate as myself,
Mm-hmm.
right? So how do I build a community of people who think just like me, who think that they can make things a little bit quicker? They can, not just any mechanic, because people like to take out stuff, build cars. Right now, I have my friends, we at the workshop, we take our cars, we build race cars because we host like drifting events. That's a section of motorsports. So how am I able to build what we have today? Because in city of Port Harcourt, we didn't have motorsports. We were
Mm.
only seeing Port Harcourt, Abuja, and I'm very proud to say that I've been a pioneer of what has grown into motorsports in the city of Port Harcourt today,
Lovely.
bringing everybody together. So I used to go out, car sports, trying to talk to a couple persons. And then it struck to me, why can't I just have a meeting of people who love cars as well?
Mm-hmm.
Call it something, build a community, because that's what I said. Community pushes you to the next level, because if you're just a one-man island, you can't do it. Cars in Nigeria is a niche that has not been explored,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I keep asking myself, so if someone asks me, why cars? Why is it just you didn't pick any other niche? You didn't pick lifestyle, you didn't pick travels, you didn't pick any other things to vlog about. Just talk about your car passion.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you even going to see the cars, you know? So out of me just moving around, I'd see some very interesting cars, Ferraris, Mustangs, AMGs, you know, and I've been able to create that world for myself. So I have a lot of questions with young people of my age as well, trying to ask me, how are you able to find these things? How are you able to just take on cars and make them a whole lifetime thing? You do day in, day out. You breathe cars, you speak cars. So those were the things I've been able to create myself. And I
Yeah.
use myself as a first case study to tell them, look, this is something you can build. You can build a whole community of the things you love and have everyone who speak about it and thrive on it. And it just watch it grow. So that's what I've been able to experience even within myself. So I'll tell you, it's possible. It's very, very possible.
That's great, man. Honestly, the first rejections you get, honestly, it makes or breaks you.
Mm.
And if you don't have the right mindset, it can honestly make you feel like, you know what? Yeah, why am I even? I shouldn't be bothering myself.
Why am I even stressing? Like,
Exactly. But the first person you talk to isn't going to be the second person. Sometimes they won't be the third person. They might
yeah.
end up being the fourth or fifth person, and then they're ready to tell you yes because they're like, I could get something from this guy. This guy is putting me out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it all just comes around full circle for you, man. So it's always good to never give up and to have that relentless drive. Because now you have people asking you like, how did you do it? Like, how can I do it like
Exactly.
you, you know?
So sorry to cut you in. I just remembered something very, maybe I've not really taken
Of
notes.
course.
But people who would turn you down in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
like when I used to do YouTube, I used to go to car dealerships to tell them, "Oh, look, can I review your cars? Can I just have an access to the cars just to review them?"
Mm-hmm.
And they'll say no. Well, guess who's calling now?
The same people. Wow.
Same people are
It's a
calling now.
small
So
world.
exactly. So you just sometimes you need that rejection to go out and just build, because those people who didn't see value in you would be able to call you back
Mm-hmm.
and see that you've been able to build something worthwhile, and you have definition to what your vision is,
Mm-hmm.
so they can come together and ride along with it.
Lovely. I hear that, bro. I hear that. Let's pick up the pace now. I do have a strong question I want to ask now. Do you think where you are determines how far you can go or just how hard you have to work? We know from social media, the world is different all over, but I want to know your thoughts.
So I'd say it. Um, I'd go with the fact that where I am, if I keep at it, I'll be able to do a whole lot more. I'll be able to touch uh, different lives, basically with what I do. And why I say that is because I've chosen a path that I want to follow, and I've seen the results of having to keep at it.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't say outrightly that where I am at right now would define, but I have a belief, I have an assurance. There's this optimism in me that I know that this thing I'm doing can get better. And that in return comes with the results I've seen over time, having to do the things I'm doing where I am right now, because I know this thing would grow, right? I
Yeah.
have this mindset that this thing is going to turn out to be something even bigger than what I have today, because
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm etching for. Because there's always sit at in front of you, to just a space to just occupy, right? So I'm putting myself in a position where I know that where I am at is not going to define me entirely, but if it should, it can only get better,
Amen.
right? It can only get better. So that's where that's just my mindset, and that's where I have positioned myself to be. That I don't ever want to be in the position where I'm slacking behind because
Mm-hmm.
or where I'm at, I'm not satisfied. Of course, you shouldn't be satisfied with where you are, because there's more,
Yeah,
but contentment and an assurance too, that you know you're going to with the steps, with how disciplined you are, you're going to do better and you're going to get better results.
for sure, man. Amen. I do agree with you there, bro. And it's good that you're looking at it from from that perspective, because it just means that
Mhm.
you can always learn from your shortcomings. You can always learn from your successes, and it
Yeah.
really determines on how far you are willing to go, how far you're willing to push
Mm.
yourself, and how far or how many times you're willing to stand back up when you fall down. So I love that, bro. We'll be moving over to our
Yeah.
third and final segment. And hey, if we have some more time, I'm gonna quiz you a bit more. But we're looking at mindset,
All right.
growth, and what it really takes. Because at the end of the day, you can talk the talk, but you need to walk the walk. And I think that goes into every setting of life. So my first question to you here, bro, is what does discipline look like in your day-to-day life? Like with me, I like to use like simple analogies. I'd say like, waking up and making your bed, knowing that,
Hmm.
yeah, you have to rush back, you have to rush to work, coming back home, you get back in bed, you don't really need to make it. But keeping your space tidy is a certain level, takes a certain level of responsibility and discipline as a human being. So, what does discipline look like in your day to day life?
In my day-to-day life, basically what my routine is like is I wake up in the morning, I say my prayers because it's a very important thing.
Yes.
Before I started noticing that I could pick up my phone and start scrolling through because I get tons and tons of notifications. But I had to be able to tell myself that no, if you start first with God, you'll be able to do a whole lot more. So first thing in the day, I start up uh prayers, say my prayers, go back and sit down, think, because I have schedules of things I need to do in the day just to get them done, to take them off. I like to achieve things, and I set expectations for myself daily. So after prayers, I sit down, think, meditate on the things that I've heard over time, and get to work. One thing you shouldn't do is stay at a place, because there was a time in my life, maybe in another time when I get to tell that story, there was a time in my life when I felt I wasn't doing enough,
Mm-hmm.
where all I did in a day was just sit down, lazy about, especially in the COVID period, right? You get so fed up with just staying in a place. So I told myself I don't just want to stay in my comfort zone. And I see that today because I step out daily, and I've been able to build real connections with people
Yeah.
out of stepping out. So I think about the things currently have a workshop with my friends where we go, my customers come in. I sell cars because I launched my company last year, Melissa's Auto Works.
Congrats.
So I get to go out each day, try to make things out for myself. I'm into the data analysis and cybersecurity space. So I have a couple things I do, whether it's from building websites to just checking on things and having to, work on my startup business as well. So those things are the things I bother myself with. I would call it bothering, but I keep myself busy each day. And once I come back at night, do all the routines, say my prayer, and I make sure I'm off to bed. Except from the nights I could stay up, trying to get things done. So that's what my routine life basically looks like. I make sure to keep things tidy.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, I got a puppy.
Oh, really?
I got a puppy just to find a yes. Usually you just want to have a feeling of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a puppy, I could take care of her. She has to eat this particular time, take out time to train, all of those things. So that's what my routine is like, just to keep me going.
That's good, man. That's good. I hear a lot of
Yeah.
responsibilities, bro, but you are able to hold yourself accountable. And you got me perked up, bro. You got a dog. That's nice. Jeez. I love
Mhm.
dogs till now, bro. So that's cool. That's
Yes.
lovely. But hey, man, we don't have as much time, bro. I really wish we could talk for so much more. But
Mm.
I have, I'd say, 3 questions to ask you. So yeah, we're running out of time, bro. But do your best. I'd like to ask firstly, is success more about opportunity or about how you use the little you have?
Success is about how you use the little you have,
Mm-hmm.
because there's never going to be a time you're comfortable enough, right? And someone will be watching this video and asking, well, I don't have a camera. How do I start making content?
That's true.
You have at least a phone. You can borrow one. There are times when I was to make content. My first video, I made mention of that. I was to add, I had to, usually when I'm to make YouTube videos to review cars, I started hiring DSLRs. I started hiring cameras just to shoot the video
Mm-hmm.
and just edit. So start from where you are and watch it grow.
Yeah.
You can't sit down and just wish, because if you wish for success, you never get success.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to start. Yes.
Lovely
Move
stuff,
out of
bro.
your comfort zone.
Lovely. I agree with you all the way, man.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not that easy. You know, we always face struggles, we face hardships, and some people aren't as, I won't say lucky, but they just don't get the opportunities. But I truly believe that if you seek them, you will find them. So the next question here that
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to ask you is, what advice would you give someone trying to start something in a space that isn't fully developed? I know we've already said you just have to start, but what else can you share?
So I I I believe very much in using myself as a case study, having to build things and create things from that have not been the usual,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So my advice to someone who's trying to start up would be to first define what you want to achieve. Because if you don't have definition of what you want to do, you won't have a way or get inspiration to solve those things, to do those things. It's just like when a man has a problem and
Mm-hmm.
he just wants to go all out to solve them.
Yeah.
So definition first. Define it first. Define your vision, define your passion, define what you want to do. Because if you can't be able to achieve it. So know what you want to do. It's more of a self-seeking, right? So define that. And second step would be looking out for who has done it. Mentorship, right? Somehow there's nothing exactly new. It's just that we have to be innovative.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to start out, look out for mentorship. Find a space of people who encourage you, who believe in what you want to do. Those are two very key steps to doing something. There are times when you don't necessarily see results, right, from trying to start up, or you just have to keep at it, knowing that you have defined it, you have a goal, and then you have people, you have mentorship, you have backing. And one thing I would add is believing and trusting in God. Yes, you have to trust, you have to believe in whatever He has said, that if you can start, you can finish.
100%. Dude, you are a visionary, man. Honestly, it's great to have you here, bro, because everything you say, I agree. Everything you say can resonate with people, man. And I hope this touches a few people who want to start their own projects, who want to chase their own dreams, because they have every right to do so. Like I said, if your dreams aren't that big, then what's the point? Be willing to dream
Yeah.
big and go far. But this is all the time that we have, Jude. Thank you for coming online in the room,
Thank you
online
so much.
edition. No, man, honestly, thank you for being on. It's been a long time coming, and this episode can teach people, and we can keep pushing Militus
Yeah.
out there. We can push Lion in the Room out there, and
Mhm.
bro, just big ups to you, man. Big ups. But like I said, people, this is
Thank
the
you, brother.
end. Of course, man. Obviously, this is the end of our episode. This is Jude all the way from PH, my boy from PH. Like, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. You have all his pages in the descriptions as well. Check out his YouTube channel, Instagram, all his social pages, man. This is this is one step into the unknown for everybody, but be willing to seek out. Be willing to seek out Jesus, man. We will always tell you this. Lion in the Room is a Christian podcast that believes in Jesus Christ as the one true King. So seek out that knowledge, man. Seek out the Bible, and I know that Jesus will present himself to you, people. But hey, that's all I got to say, man. Take care. Jude, I'm going to leave a little applause for you, man,
All
because
right,
you've
brother.
been great. Take care, bro, and all the best.
Bye.